Yo, what's going down, Commanders? Hope everyone's doing fine this morning. I want to discuss the quote-unquote, the grind of the game. And this is something that a lot of people are not seeing through or seeing the bullshit from Kixeye. The grind of the game isn't necessarily the way the events are structured as such. The grind of the game is how much Kixeye want us to sit down and play these events to be able to reach to a point where we feel like we've got enough of each unit, enough of each tech that goes with the unit. And there's simple ways that Kixeye can fix that. It isn't about how the event is structured necessarily. It's how many times Kixeye expects us to play that to get to a reasonable level with the stuff that is there on offer. And there's such an easy fix for it. And the first fix is remove that 400,000 XP in the last main event, 400,000 XP for each individual tech. That didn't need to change. It really didn't. What, because you called it gold tech, it was more valuable. We know that's bullshit, Kixeye. We know your events are basically the same throughout every unit. Every now and then you throw us a curveball, but it's not nothing spectacular that may be worthy of that sort of kind of XP. In my opinion, if one playthrough of an event can't buy you at least one new unit and a full tech tree with it, that's too much grind. I'd go so far to say is what they need to do is they need to remove the one buy option. Obviously, there's going to be a 1 at the end if you collect all the stuff. There's going to be a 1 or 2 option. But remove that and make it a 2 or a 3 unit option where you purchase it, you get the 2 or 3 units. You purchase the tech, you get 2 or 3 techs. It's a trick of the mind. It makes us feel like we're getting value for money. And obviously, they need to condense that cost into that. Just because it's 2, it doesn't mean it's double. You know? They're not understanding what the players are telling them. They're thinking that we're complaining about how much time we're spending on an event. We are, but we're not. We're more talking about the cost of things that is just skyrocketed to the point we're having to get 70, 80, 100 million in an event XP. That's the problem. That's the root. If things were priced reasonably and you weren't so greedy with it, I think you'd see less complaints. You wouldn't have to be deleting people off your Discord after you asked a question about how this last event went and people give you answers that you didn't want to read. You can't ask people what they thought about the event or give you their thoughts on the event. And when they said something you didn't like, the event's shit or something like that, which it was, let's all be fucking fair. It took about 3 minutes to put this event together. And that's all I see from Kixeye nowadays is the event structured to the point where it's a lazy thing for them to do. There's no real fault, there's no real drive, no real passion within the Kixeye team or the devs or the artists or anything like that. All the artwork's done through fucking AI now. But there's no real fault pattern. There's no, well, are they going to enjoy this? Talking of Retaliation, every second I sat there, it was like I was fucking dying. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun. They replaced Holdout with that. What a shame. You know, everything that we had, eventually the main event's going to get changed to a point where we're not going to recognise it as well. Every event they've put out to date, except for one now, you're restricted in what you can and can't use. The game, we don't play the game to be restricted. If you're giving us stuff to use in the game, if you're saying this is the newest, bluest unit, and then all of a sudden the following event we can't use it, whether it be Retaliation, whether it be Sector Breach or Skirmish, you're saying, well, no. So look at Skirmish, for instance. You play Skirmish, you get the unit. You can't use the unit in Skirmish. It's that Skirmish itself. You have to wait 2 or 3 months after or a month after before you can then start using that unit. How does that work? You literally can't use the unit you're purchasing in Skirmish to play Skirmish. Fucking cut your nose off despite your face. And this is where lies the problem. is when you're not thinking in a player's perspective, because not one person at Kixeye has a plan for these events. And actually, what they should do is play through the events and use their own money to play through the events. Not add money to your account or add golds to your account because it's a Kixeye employees account. No, you've got to play through the event and understand it from the perspective from the player. If you was a new player, how many new players would literally be able to walk into this game and play 90% of the events now? Holdout was that one event where if you had a high priority unit, you could place pretty much anything you had around the perimeter, and that would get you the XPs needed to then purchase some stuff and make you stronger, and then follow through. You could go and play the other events. Now we're just restricting everyone on how to play the game. Guardians are gone. Where are we going to purchase Guardians from? Or what Kixeye call Guardians, the base defensive unique units, such as Hungry Howard, Sea Wizard, things like that. Where have they gone? Are they you just don't want them in the game no more? The direction, you're all over the place. The company as a whole is all over the place. You look at they removed the factions. They actually only just updated the factions just before October, I believe, with the ECC update. They replaced the reflections. They replaced all the buffs that we got for the factions, and then they took the factions away from us and give us these, what are they called? I forget even what they're called. Base weaknesses. They give us the base weaknesses over the factions, where we had 3 options in the factions. In the base weaknesses, they put out some shitty old units. If you use these units, you'll get 16 times the damage output. Don't matter about the health. The health could be 1 on these units. And then you've got to match up three of the 4 things at the bottom. To me, I don't even look at them. I really don't. Because it's pointless. I don't want to be told how to play this game. I don't want to be told you can only use uniques. You can only use legendaries. You can only use the newest 3 units for an event. I want to be able to play the game and use the units that I've spent all this time purchasing and upgrading and collecting tech for. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to play the game that you give us. Not you going, well, we'll give you all this game, but we're going to take 90% off you for this event and that event and that event. Retaliation, sector breach and skirmish. Oh, by the way, this unit you win out of that event, you're not going to be able to use it in this event. No. None of it makes no sense. All it does is produce frustration. Because what's the point of purchasing a main event unit now when you can't use it in anything else? You know, you've took the world map and ripped it apart. No more uniques out on the world map. Tough shit. You were probably not going to see the elite bases on the world map on a Sunday. Sector gold bases are gone. I'm not too worried about that. But even so, you've kept it at the same amount of parts. 40 parts for elite. 80 parts for Omega. We asked you for a reduction in the grind. It's not rocket science. Reduce the grind. Don't need to be 80 parts for Omega. It doesn't need to be 40 parts for. It weren't so bad 40 parts for elite when you could do 4 or 5 of the bases on a Sunday and then walk away, or do 4 or 5 bases throughout the day on a Sunday. That weren't a problem. When you sat there and you've got to buy 40 parts for an elite unit, that sucks. And then after that, you got to buy 80 parts for the Omega. And we're nowhere even close to getting these units to Omega, most of us. Only the WoWs. And that's where the buck stops, is where it feels like the game is so... They've got a handful of WoWs, and that's what they're gearing them up for. They're like, well, let's get these guys to spend the maximum amount, fuck the rest of the game. But it's short-sighted at the same time, because a lot of the time these whales are walking away in droves. How can they continue to justify the money they're spending? for something that lasts only a couple of months at best. Anyway, I'm not going to stop whinging, guys. I just don't think Kixeye understand. I think it's partly our fault as well, where they asked us questions and we say, well, the grind. The problem is the grind. And Kixeye go, okay, we're going to reduce the amount of units you get by 1 throughout the month. We're not talking about how many units, although we may say it's too many units being shoved in the game. Well, you understand, it's not just too many units. With the units, you're giving us 4 or 5 techs now, and all these 4 or 5 techs are all gold tech. They're all 400,000 XP. You're adding to the grind, not subtracting from the grind. You're adding to it, literally adding to the grind, because you think that gold techs are better than bronze and silver techs. Just keep it how it was. Bronze and silver techs, make them cheaper. The gold techs a little bit dearer. You added to the grind. Last main event, Kixeye literally added to the grind instead of reducing it. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had the answers. I just can't understand. What wrong thinker? Fixer, whatever his name, Friendly Fixer. His big post making out that he was all for the players and we're going to discuss cheats and we're going to be open about things and we want your feedback, and it just feels like they was blowing smoke up our arse, making us feel that they're listening, make us feel like they understand the players' blight, when in truth they just don't. They just don't get it. All they see is probably the money's shrinking. Month in, month out, the money's shrinking, and they're in a panic. How can we get these? Well, we got these whatever it is, a couple of, maybe 1,000 wows. We'll just put out 2 Omega units, and they're coining them up to max level. That will increase our income for this month. Not thinking about the month after or the month after that. It's just stuff Omega units in our face. Make sure they don't give us enough tokens to get even a level on them. So they're so scared of giving us 1 level on a unique unit. Fucking sad. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably stupid. I'm probably dumb. But one thing is I think the players as a whole are just sick of this. Being told how to play the game instead of just Kixeye making events and us enjoying the events. And Kixeye going, okay, you don't like the grind, we will reduce the grind for you. All it is reducing costs. As I say, if you can't purchase a unit and a tech for 1 run through of a main event, there's something wrong. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, guys. Not sure if this video will make it live or not. I needed a vent, really. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.